Hi everyone, my name is Cynthia. Let's talk book. Today I'm here to talk about books number 41 through 45 of the books I've read in 2023. I got into reading some quite serious books and some really light books that I think are worth talking about. So the first book here is Like Trees Walking, a novel by Ravi Howard. This is a book about the last lynching that took place in Mobile, Alabama. So it's based on a true story, but it is fictionalized. We're following the story through the eyes of these two twin brothers. I'm sorry, they're not twin brothers, but these two brothers that were born like a year apart. So they're close in age. They've grown up really close. Their father owns the local mortuary. And so they have a lot of experience with death. At the same time, they're really young. Like one of them's about to finish high school, the other one just finished. They're trying to deal with whether they want to follow in their father's first steps in the family business of mortuary, or whether they would like to pursue their own career paths, one that hasn't been chosen for them. And so there's all that like pressure and angst of being young, and then um, one of the brothers, the oldest brother, finds his friend hanging from a tree, clearly having been lynched. And then the story just revolves around the aftermath of what happens, like the little things and big things that then result out of this lynching. And it was an incredibly moving story and really hard to read at a time in which in the US, like, it feels like every time I turn on the news, and I limit the amount of news that I consume these days because I can't always handle all of the terrible news, but the anger and the culture of violence in the US, especially towards people of color, especially towards black men. We live in a country now where people can get shot at for knocking on someone's door, for turning in the wrong driveway, for walking and just existing in the world in normal places where there should be no fear of us dying. And I think that it is not an exaggeration to call some of those horrific events we've seen in the news modern day lynchings. And I think this book, reading it while some of those things were playing out in public, and dealing with it as a nation, just brought that home even more. So, highly, I think this is a really powerful and moving book that can and should be read more. The next book I want to talk about was Orgullo Prieto by Tenoch Huerta. This is a book that has not been translated to English yet. I'm going to link a TikTok I did for this book, in which I talk about it in Spanish. Here I'm going to talk about this book in English, although it feels really odd to talk about this book in English when it's not available in English. It's only available in Spanish. But it's a book in which Tenoch Huerta, who is a Mexican actor, you might have seen him most recently in the Black Panther movie Wakanda Forever. But he has been an actor for a long time, and starts off talking about race and racism in Mexico and dispelling that idea that is very popular in Mexico, that Mexico is not a racist country, that it's a classist country. And so he kind of takes every point, point by point, and completely destroys that argument, and reminds us the ways in which Mexico is a very racist country still. He also uses a lot of his personal experiences within the entertainment industry in Mexico, and to some extent in the U.S. as well, but especially in Mexico. A lot of what he talks about, I think, can be said about a lot of different places in Latin America, though I think he is very clear that his experience is particularly in Mexico, and so it's some of his points can be limited in that way. He's often is making comparisons to the U.S. In ways that don't make either country look very good. I think this is such an important book for really understanding the kind of racism and colorism that those of us that come from Latin American countries, um, like the heritage that comes from the way we've been shaped by that, by the way in which our families have been shaped by that. And then for those of us that are now living in the United States, how these things merge, that experience of racism and colorism in our countries of origin and the racism and colorism in the U.S. kind of layer up to create particular ideas and approaches within Latino communities in the U.S. This is where I'm like reading, having read. In my last video, I talked about this book, Our Migrant Souls, and right before Orgullo, Prieto kind of merges those ideas, these layers of like racism that Latino communities are part of, that we are exposed to. I found the audiobook for Orgullo Prieto particularly great because it is narrated by Tenoch Huerta himself, and he has a fantastic voice that was really perfect for the audiobook. So if anybody is interested in the book, Orgullo Prieto, I highly, highly recommend it. And the next book I read was a romance novel. This is Seeking Stars by Leonor Soliz. This book, ooh, I love it. I might have to stop saying that I don't like celebrity romances. I typically don't pick up celebrity romances. Like, I stay away from those. But now that I think about it, some of my favorite romances of all time have been celebrity romances. And it has nothing to do with the celebrity element. And it's all about the crisp writing of within some of these books. Seeking Stars is kind of a slow burn romance because our main couple is spending a lot of time together, but there's no getting together until closer to the end. And these two can't get together, or they're being very cautious about getting together because our hero is a Hollywood star. He's quite famous, and our heroine is not. She's a documentarian who is being given the opportunity to work for this Hollywood star, and this could make or break her career. It can be very meaningful for her, but also if it gets out that she's sleeping with the subject of her documentary, then that's not going to make her look too good, and she is very aware of that. And even as their chemistry grows, as they get to know one another, that stays in her mind so much. But as a result, I think we really get to see these two characters get to know each other. They're spending a lot of time just one-on-one, where it's just the two of them. And I think I love that setting for the kind of meaningful understanding of one another. Like when two people are spending so much time together and they're being vulnerable with each other, they're letting the walls down that they put up on a daily basis. It is so beautiful. I love that. The celebrity element does come in as a conflict, so there's the external conflict that the couple is fighting, but it doesn't come up to the end. There is a lot of drama around that and a lot of like anxious moments of, oh my god, that did not just happen. But I thought that Soliz's writing handles that so well because it's high tension. It's the climax of conflict in the story, but it is resolved with the couple working together. And there's nothing I love more than our couple working together. So I really enjoyed this book so much. If you can handle that slow burn, slow pace, I think that'll be great. For people that want high heat, this is probably not the book for you. Because of the slow burn aspect of it, and then once the couple is together, like a lot of that drama then comes to the surface. But I found it so refreshing and wonderful to be reading in the midst of reading some of this harder stuff as well. So I really enjoyed it. Next, I have to pick up another romance. This is at this point I was like looking through my Kindle trying to read some of the books that I'd been meaning to get to for a while and just hadn't. So this is Grading Curse by Naima Simone. This is a novella, I believe. I believe it's a novella, yeah, because it's a shorter one. And it involves, our heroine is a professor who just moved to this new job, this new university in this new town. And she is walking into a tattoo parlor to like impulse get a tattoo. And she meets the hero, who is the tattoo artist. And when I found out that this was going to be a professor-student relationship, I was like, nope, 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 nope. I don't care how good of a book it is. The idea of a professor and a student involved in a romantic and sexual relationship grosses the hell out of me as someone who is a professor. I know it is not uncommon, unfortunately. I think it is a significant abuse of power when those relationships occur. And so I will not read romances that involve professors and students. Except with this one, I was told, and I don't remember who told me, but I remember I added it on my Kindle because I was told that this was actually handled really, really well. So I was like, was it really? So I went in with a very skeptical eye, and I have to say it was handled very well. They don't know that they are, that they're going to be involved, that this professor-student conflict of interest is going to occur when they meet, and for most of the book, they don't know. First day of classes finally happens, they realize what is happening, and then that is quickly resolved. It was still icky for me, and I love the writing in this story. Really, really loved it. So I need to read more by Naima Simone, but for that period of time in which they both know that they're in that this conflict of interest is an issue, it was too overwhelming for me. And like I said, I think the author handles it beautifully, but I cannot get over it as somebody who is a professor. And I just like, and because the heroine here is a female professor, so I was just like, nope, 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 nope. So, I would not discourage anybody from picking up this book. I think it's a wonderful, well-written, short novella, high heat, really well done. This was just it's not the book, it's not the writing, it's me and my, even in fiction, I just cannot handle that situation. Total me issue. But I want to read more Naima Simone. And then book number 45 on my list. Here's another short romance novella. It is Her Night with Santa by Adriana Herrera. So this is a female romance novella, holiday novella, in which Santa is a woman. And we start with not the perspective of Santa, but of this toy runner. This woman who designs toys, and that is the family business. And her uncle is connected to Santa, and basically she gets to stay at this house while trying to make it to her family reunion. She's basically stuck in the Caribbean, and this house is available for her to stay at. Enter Santa, trying to relax from having delivered all the toys, and romance and sex ensues. If you are into holiday novellas, I think you will like this one. It was fun. It was short, super high heat. If you don't enjoy really, really high heat novellas, this one will not be the one for you. Like I've been thinking in my mind the way heatness rates for me, because on one end is like stories that are all about the sex, like really, really high heat, basically erotica, where hardly any story is all about the sex. And then at the other end of the spectrum is stories that have no sex. It's all about the story, the character development. Well, this novella falls closer to the erotica and while still having a story. There is still a story there, like the holiday element, all of that, but it is very high heat. So if you don't like that, like I said, you're not gonna like it. But if you're looking for that, this might be one that you might be interested in. So those are all the books I'm going to talk about in this video. So far, my 2023 reading is going well. I feel like I was starting really slow earlier in the year, and now it's picking up really quick, in part because I'm so stressed. At this point in the semester, I'm finishing up the semester. So actually, as I'm filming this, I'm in that point in the semester in which finals are about to happen, and I don't have a lot left to do. But then once I get my finals in, it's like high stress and like, ugh. So a few more weeks and I'm done with the semester. I'm going to be teaching a summer class this year. It's going to be my first year teaching a class over the summer. So we'll see how that goes in terms of my summer plans. Usually summer is the time of the year in which I read the most because I have a lot of free time. This time I will have less, I think. On the other hand, I'm teaching a course that I think it's the second time I'm teaching it. So I have a lot of nonfiction reading planned in the next month in preparation for that course and for revamping, getting better at teaching that course. So I want to talk a lot about that kind of stuff on my channel. So if you're interested in any of that, if you're interested in any of the books I talked about, if you want to read any of the books I talked about, if you think I'm weird for reading holiday stuff and out of season, let me know down below. It's all fair. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.